I elected to speak from here, and I told the organizers to indulge me because proximity is very important. I want to be close to you as I engage with you. First of all, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the Lord for all of you wonderful people, especially the leaders of this DMV area. We had a meeting last night and had some dinner. I had an opportunity to listen to quite a number of you, and because we have been interacting, many of you have become very close friends, and we are always engaging. I will explain shortly what I intend to do in the next 1 year, 1.5 years. I am going to be on a listening mission, just such as I am today, meeting Kenyans in groups of 100 to 150 maximum, to have conversations with people about our country and about the thoughts I have and what I think would happen in our country. I'm not doing so because I do not know, or I do not have ideas of my own on what I think would happen. But I'm doing so because, quite frankly, I think a time has come for us to also change even the paradigms of how we manage leadership and how we engage public service, as it were. So I thank you very sincerely for this listening caucus this evening. That's how I'm looking at it. I've come here to listen. We need to change the top-bottom approach to public affairs, where leaders talk all the time, we give lectures all the time, as if we are the ones who know and others don't know, when in actual fact the people we are supposed to serve are yourselves, and you have ideas and you know what you want to happen to your country. But for the short time I'm going to be here, I'm very, very grateful to you wonderful people for the time you have taken to be here. I'm happy that I've met some of you who I have not seen for a long time. I think the 2 years I've spent at the bank, I did have an opportunity to move around, obviously because of the constraints of work. But now, since I started having these listening activities in the US and having meetings, I met a group of about 150 people in Atlanta, just like yourselves, the other day in Texas, and now today I'm meeting with you, mainly leaders from this general area. So there are many things I could say. But Kathy, you speak for me in more. And Dr. Gola, the same thing, you speak for me too. And I will try as much as I can, if possible, to respond to some of the issues that you have raised and some of the points you have. But let me begin at this, particularly this, because I think I have a responsibility as a public leader to say that, or as an aspiring public leader to say that. Chinua Achebe, a long time ago, before even some people in this audience were born, wrote a very small book entitled The Trouble with Nigeria. The opening sentence of that book was, "The trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely affiliation." There's nothing wrong with Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with Nigerian water, Nigerian weather, or anything else. He said it's simply a failure of leadership. I think the first thing I would like to do tonight is something very practical that I've been dealing with in my own personal conversations with people since I came here. There are roughly, I think, about 300,000 or so Kenyans in the US, Balos, isn't it? About 300,000 Kenyans. When it came to registering to vote, probably about 10,000 or so registered to vote out of those 300,000 Kenyans. There are about 2 or 3 polling stations. And even then, when it came to the actual voting itself, I don't think 3,000 Kenyans voted in 2022. So let me begin by saying this to you. And even we, as the leaders or aspiring leaders, we can't love your money and the remittance that you're making, but we don't love your contribution. My first challenge to you, wonderful people, is that you need to participate in electing the leaders of Kenya, so that then you can hold people to account. So because I'm a presidential candidate, I took it upon myself to begin conversations with people on how we can make this happen. And this morning I was talking to the people at the mission. And Mr. Mwaura, we agreed that you are going to form a small team that brings together leaders and representatives from other cities in the US, so that we can complete a proposal on how we can increase the polling stations in the US from the current 3 to 10 or 15, and then begin a process of sensitizing the Kenyans who are here to participate in the electoral process. Because my brothers and sisters, whatever we do, unless we are participating in making that decision on who is going to make decisions for us, I mean, what are we going to talk about if you are not participating? We can only whine and dine and complain about it. And I might tell people in Nairobi, for instance, that if the middle class in Kenya actually wanted to change the country, they can change the country. Going to Karen Club and having drinks at Karen Club is good, but it will not get us to where we want to go. Participating in the process will get us there. We can stay on X, it's a good forum, we can engage, yes, but voting, actually voting and going to vote makes a difference, because that way then you'll be able to take decisions that affect the way in which your country is managed. So my challenge to you, leaders, is that please follow up on this discussion we had with people at the mission to complete a proposal that will be looked at by the IEBC on front. As leaders who are outside of government, we have already started a process of both petitioning the IEBC and also with a perspective of going to court if need be, to see to it that we have more polling stations here in the US so that you guys can vote. Because if there was so this is something I think we need to work on. That's where we need to start from in terms of our participation and so on. So let me go to my brief remarks tonight, and then I am looking forward more to interacting with you and answering questions and giving you my perspectives. And Kathy, I'm going to answer your questions, the ones you asked me about my experience in public service and what I think I'll do differently, as it were. Now, there's nothing wrong with our country. That's where I'll begin. I am one of those people who had the privilege of serving my country in the position of a cabinet minister for 10 years, the 2 terms with President Uhuru Kenyatta. That was one of the best times in my life. With all the challenges and the crises, the Ministry of Interior, for example, 2/3 of the time you operate on adrenaline. Because you sleep with phones on either side of your bed. There is no single night that you'll go through the night without those phones ringing, and none of them calls you to wish you happy birthday or to wish you a good night's sleep. It's a crisis after crisis after crisis. A dam has burst out in Solai in Nakuru, and it has swept down families. Nobody knows, even at that time when the regional commission doesn't know how many families have been swept down. And that is 11 o'clock at night. From then on, there's no night for you, because you have got to gather the country together and make, decisions. Some crazy fellows have probably crossed the border, and we have been tracing them, and we have lost them. And chances are that they are likely to be terrorists, and nobody can trace them. We have lost them a bit somewhere between one point of the border and another. You cannot go to sleep because you don't know where they are headed. Because if they get there before you get them, you know what's going to happen. So have the time. That is the kind of life that you lead. But I want to say this, and this is my testimony. I say this very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I thank the Lord for every minute, every hour I served. And as I said, it's the best time in my life. We were not the most, perfect or ideal group of people. But by God's grace, we were able to do much. And then I got to know the country in ways I never knew it before I went to public service. And enjoy and love my people more than I loved them before I came in, because I came to go into people's lives, you meet ordinary people and the experiences on a day-to-day basis. Some of them are heart-wrenching, others are, inspiring, but it's all in a day's work, and it's a very exciting opportunity to serve. And for those of you who were with us last night, I spent a lot of time telling you about some of those experiences and how great they are and so on. So, since independence, nearly 63 years now, we've had self-rule, we've had 3 administrations, actually 4. This is the 5th administration. And in addition to, peaceful transfer of power, we have been relatively stable, except for when we have had challenges such as we did in 2007, and when we have had, security challenges of one kind or the other. We are the anchor state in East Africa, and on the Horn of Africa, that's how we are perceived. We are the most influential and probably consequential environment within the Horn of Africa. Believe me when I say this to you, because of my exposure and travel, we are some of the hardest working people on the continent. And, we have one of the most educated populations. The reason why people choose us